Narayanakam Tang Vande Vinoda Prashtakam Nyatpada Smriti Matrena Damodara Prasidati Vanchakalpadruvyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Krishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandha Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kancana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Bhaktya Vihina Parada Rakshay Tiptasya Kamari Saranga Madhya Kripamayi Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Brinde Namaste Charanara Vindam Vajhami Radha Maravinda Netram Smarami Radha Madhura Smitasyam Vadami Radha Karuna Varadram Tato Mamanyasti Gatir Nakati Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my Sasanganand Pranam, thousands of times, Lord Shri Paramaradham Guru Pada Padma, Amishnu Pada Stotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Gurudev. Second, I offer my Sasanganand Pranam, thousands of times, Lord Shri Rupa Nuga Gauri Guru Varga. I offer my Sasanganand Pranam, the awesome Guru Vaishnavas of Vaishnavi. I'm continuing with our reading of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 27. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa ahankara vimudhatmam kartahamiti manyate. All aspects of material activity are performed by the modes of material nature. But a person whose intelligence is bewildered by false ego thinks himself to be the doer. Bhavanuvad by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. If a learned man also has to perform karma, what is the difference between his work and that of an ignorant man? This doubt is being addressed. The difference is shown in two slokas beginning with the present one, Prakriti Kriyamanani, is shown with the present one, Prakriti Kriyamanani. Ignorant people believe that they themselves perform all activity karma, but in reality it is performed by the senses, which are impelled by the gunas of Prakriti, the modes of material nature. Thus, people have the mood, I am the doer. But in reality, they are being pulled by the senses, which are dictated by the modes of material nature. Slok 28. Tattvavettu mahabaho guna karma vibhagayo guna guneshu vartanta iti matvana sajjate. O Mahabaho, Arjuna, one who is tattvavit, who knows that the soul is distinct from the gunas, and also knows that the laws of karma, actions, does not falsely identify himself as the doer, because he understands that the senses are engaged in their respective sense objects. He is aloof from them. In other words, someone who is tattvavid, realized, self-realized, he knows that the Atma is above the three modes of material nature. Therefore, he never identifies himself as to be the doer. नीचे किताब का दुकान है ना वहाँ? नीचे? हाँ, वहाँ किताब का दुकान है, वहाँ पहुँचा दो। हाँ? दुकान पे? हाँ। और मूर्ति से बात करो। Bhavanuvad. Those who know the distinctive characteristics of guna and karma are called tattvavid, knowers of the truth. There are three categories of guna, sattva, raja and tama. The respective categories of karma are the different types of activities which are influenced by the gunas, the devas, the various prominent senses and the object of the senses. So you may perform karma, but there's so many different dependents, so many things that influence what type of karma you will perform. The devas may influence you, the gunas will influence you, your senses will pull you here and there, etc. In this way you do different activity, different karma. Therefore karma is of unlimited types. One who is Tattvavid knows the truth about both guna and karma. The devas or the gunas preside over the respective senses such as sight and also the sense objects such as form. However, a learned person knows that he is not the gunas, nor he is the effect or activity of any guna. He has nothing to do with the gunas or their activities. Understanding this, a wise and learned person does not become attached to them. Therefore, we should understand the senses are controlled by the gunas. Therefore, they are attracted spontaneously to the sense objects. Therefore, one should not falsely think that I am performing karma. Rather, you are simply being pulled by the modes of material nature. But the jiva still he has free will. Therefore, the jiva makes the conscious decision whatever he does ultimately. But he is influenced, which influences his decision making. Therefore, the concept of free will and independence is very minute. It seems like we have free will in you, but you are limited by your senses, but limited in so many ways. For instance, if you are born as a fish, you are independent. And if you are born in a pond, then the water is not so much. You can never escape. You're born in that pond and you'll die in that pond. Similarly, you're born in this country, that country, as man, woman, whatever body you receive. You are now limited in so many ways. Where is your free will? Where is your independence? You are restricted. You cannot do whatever you want. Then, even in society, there are so many restrictions that are restricting you. Your family, so many rules, regulations. So ultimately, how much independence and free will you have? Very minute. 29. Prakriti guna sammudha sajanta guna karmasu. Tan akritsna vido mandan kritsna vinna vichalaya. Those absorbed in the three gunas become attached to sense objects. But one who is complete in knowledge should not unsettle such uninformed and less intelligent persons. So someone who is absorbed in the material nature, they are completely absorbed in sense gratification. They cannot help themselves, they are attached in that way. So, someone who has knowledge, knowing that the person is materially influenced like that, then one should not speak to him in such a way that he will become aggravated and disturbed by you. Try to encourage him in devotion, according to whatever he can accept. We try to, by force, try to prescribe something for him, then he may become even more averse. So you should understand that his consciousness at a certain level, you should speak to him accordingly. So that he may digest, so get some benefit. Otherwise, what is the use? Like an expert lawyer will try to, if there are two parties fighting, or an expert judge will tell the two parties, but why wasting so much time, money of the state, lawyer fees, this, that, come to some compromise, if possible. If it is not some horrible, or like this crime that is deserving like punishment. If there's something that can be settled within to a compromise, then like a land dispute or whatever, the judge he's expert and he'll suggest, better we settle this like this. All parties will be happy. So someone who has knowledge, then he'll understand the condition of the jiva and he'll be able to encourage that jiva according to his position. Not disturb his mind. So if someone is low caste, low intelligence, that is, what can they do? That is their karma. And you should not disturb them. Try to force them to accept something they cannot understand and digest. Try to help them, bring them up slowly, help them develop. Bhavanuvad. One may raise the question, if all jivas are distinct from the gunas and have no relationship with them and their activities, why are they seen to be attached to sense objects? The jiva is separate from the modes of material nature. He is above all the modes. Then why is the jiva becoming attached to the objects of the senses then? So Krishna answers with this sloka beginning with Prakriti. They become bewildered by the gunas. In other words, they become deluded because of their absorption in the gunas. Even though the jiva is above the gunas, his spirit is a higher tattva than this material world. But the jiva, because of his absorption in this maya, he becomes covered by it. Just as a man haunted by a ghost considers himself a ghost. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti is saying ghosts are true. If you become haunted, a man becomes haunted by a ghost, then he considers himself a ghost. It means he goes crazy. It means here, the ghost that is haunting you, then you become absorbed in the consciousness of that ghost. You forget your own identity. Now we've seen this so many times. So many cases. When we were preaching in Bangalore, then so many cases. We had one boy, he was a brahmachari staying in our temple. Then he started losing his mind a bit. Then in night time, then he's shouting some name, and he's cutting this mosquito net, he's trying to escape and run. Then we asked the mother, because he was staying in the temple, we asked the boy's mother. He was shouting this name. Then the mother said, oh, this is the name of his great grandfather. In other words, his mother's grandfather. She said, my grandfather came to me in a dream some days back and telling me, oh, why are you not sending this boy to the school? Why are you not getting him married? Why are you not arranging for his education and job and everything? So that great grandfather, he came there to the boy and he was haunting him in the night. And then the boy was saying, cutting him, let me go, take me away from here, let me go. And he was shouting his name. Become possessed. Then after doing some puja, everything, then he became okay. Many other cases. There was another boy. He was a pujari. He was a young boy. He was like 14, 15. He was in Bangalore. His name was Giridhari. He was staying as a pujari. He was serving everything, doing Radha Krishna Upas and everything. Then it happened that his mother was having some affair or relation with some other man. And this son, he was staying in temple, but sometimes he would go visit the house. Some reason he would go, maybe attachment. So then he saw this situation. So then he was telling his mother, oh, you should stop this. And the boy was telling that other man, don't come here anymore, this time. So then the mother and her lover, they conspired. The boy was strong, he was devotee, pujari, and he was always speaking strong. So they thought, oh, he's going to expose us. Maybe he was threatening, I don't know. So one day he came to his house, they both took him and they hanged him. His mother hanged his own son with her lover. And then it looked like it was suicide. But after some time, then anyway, it came out, like hearing from sometimes the relatives speaking, friends, and then all the information we came to know what the real situation was. Then the mother, then what happened? Actually, then within 8 months herself, she contracted tuberculosis. She died also. So this is offense. She died within 8 months. Usually TB is curable, but she died within 8 months. Then that boy Giridhari, then he was maybe like 1 year later, we're here in Anandam. Then that time, in the night time, this Giridhari came. Instead of me in my sleep, and he came to one boy from Bangalore, his name is Vishwanath. He came to Vishnu. I said, oh, I was a pujari worshipping Radha Krishna for so many years. Why am I suffering like this? Why did I get this destination? Help me, help me. Vishnu in the morning told me, oh, Giridhari came to me in a dream. He came to me in a dream. I said, oh yes, last night also I was trying to sleep. I felt also ghost was touching me, cold touch, everything. Then Muni Maharaj from Bangalore, he called. Oh, this Giridhari coming to all the devotees' dream here in Bangalore, my dream, everyone dream, he's telling me, save me, I'm suffering so much. I was pujari, why am I suffering? Then he coming to everyone's dream like this, then somebody told Muni Maharaj to go to Ganga Sagar, this is where they do Pinda, oblation for forefathers, Makaran Sankranti, and there it wasn't Makaran Sankranti, there was another day they went there, they did Pinda for him there, and then they did one Surya Narayan Puja in Bangalore, then he was liberated. There was another time when we were in Bangalore, there was some congregation, they said, oh, there's one of our relatives, one lady, she possessed by ghost. So we had one brahmachari in our temple, he knew about some tantra, some exorcism and ghosts. I said, I'm going to go see. So then he went there, then he came back, and he told everything. Then when he went there was one lady, and she was acting very strange. She was telling me, oh, bring me this, I want nice skirt. And they'll go to the market, they'll bring the skirt. He said, hey, this is not nice, this is cheap one, give me a nice one. Give me the remove tag. Then he said, oh, give me a red sambar. Sambar is like dal, you know. But red sambar means she wants meat inside. Then she's asking, I want this, that. Acting very strange. And then crying, singing, no eating, and completely lost her mind. So this brahmachari, when he went there, then he did some mantra tantra, and then he caught the attention of the ghost. And he started questioning, hey, who are you? Why are you here? Then the girl said that, oh, I am one girl from Bangalore. I was supposed to marry one boy, but this boy, he rejected me, he married one other girl. So I committed suicide. So then, how you came here? When they were taking my body, I was sitting on the roof of the ambulance, and I was driving, and then I saw, and this girl who got haunted, she was crying and sitting outside on the stairs of her house. Because in India, a lot of time when the girls they get married, then the in-laws, the mother-in-law, anyone, sometimes they're acting cruel, or they're not used to living away from home, and then they suffer a lot. Especially if the in-laws are not nice. So she was crying, all depressed, sitting on the stairs. Her mental condition wasn't good. So then I was going on the ambulance, I saw this girl who was there. So I entered her, I took possession of her. Then the people in the house, they said, oh, but we are Brahmanas, how you can enter our house? And the girl was laughing, what Brahmanas you are? So you are Kali Yuga Brahmanas. What are you following? Nothing you are following? They said, no, but we have Bhagavad Gita in the house. And the ghost said, yes, you have Bhagavad Gita. You keep in the corner there, wrapped up in one cloth in the corner there. So I go everywhere else, but I don't go there. So how you entered into the house? I said, I came under the door. And where do you stay in the house? I said, I usually there was one shelf, and they had one teddy bear up there. I sit with the bear up there. I live there. And when I want, I come and enter her body. So then the brahmachari said, I give you one option. I can help you or I can destroy you. What do you want? You want liberation or you want to be destroyed? And the ghost said, don't destroy me, you liberate me. So then the brahmachari, they cut one white pumpkin, took out piece, they do some puja, everything, then he ordered the ghost to go inside the pumpkin, and they closed it, and wrapped with a cloth and tie, and then they took that pumpkin and they threw in the Narmada river, Shiva's place. Then the ghost becomes liberated. So many stories. Even with Bhakti Bandhav Goswami Maharaj. How he used to go all the way to Chaitanya Gaurimat to bring sabjis. Then one time when he was coming back, then there was one family, they approached, oh, we are in desperate need of a pujari. Our daughter is to be married, but the pujari who was to do the yagya, he became sick and he cannot come. And if we don't get a priest to do this yagya, then our marriage will be cancelled, everything. Please, we're begging you, please do the yagya for this marriage. So the Vaman Goswami Maharaj, he said, okay. He went there and they had big, everything, pandal, everything was there. And he did the yagya, everything. But he said, but I have to return, I have to be back in time to the temple also to give this sabjis and everything. But don't worry, we have horse, carriage, cart, we will take you in time back. So then he agreed, he did everything. They gave so many fruits and everything, gifts. And he did the marriage and he came back. And everyone was wondering, how it took so long? He said, oh, in the way, there's some villages, they asked me to do this marriage and I felt compassionate for them, so I helped them. So which village? He said, in between, he said, describe the place between Mayapur and here, there's one village. He said, we've never heard of any village there. They said, no, they gave me fruits and everything. So then when he opened the bag, the fruits, so there was no fruits in there, only nails, hair and these things. The ghosts, they like to eat nails, hair, all these tamasic things. They like to associate them with these things. Then next day they went to that village to look. They saw that there actually was ruins there. And they asked the locals, they said, oh, before there used to be village here, but a great fire took place and everyone got burnt and died in that fire, that village. Now there's nothing is here. So, Vaman Goswami Maharaj performed this ghost marriage. Many other katha is there also. Even in Rupsanathan Gaurimat, there was one brahmachari. Then he also got possessed by ghosts. Then he used to acting strange. Sometimes night time he's going outside, moving here and there. Then one day, then he was early morning, like 1 or 2. Then the brahmachari in the middle of the night, he was screaming and he fell unconscious in the bathroom. So then some brahmachari took some water, chanted Gopal mantra and threw on his face. He woke up, but it wasn't him, it was the ghost. And I started questioning the ghost, who are you, what do you want? And he also the same thing said, I am one girl, I was supposed to marry one man, but the man, he rejected me. Therefore I jumped in the Keshigat, I committed suicide. Now, but I like him, I want him to marry me. Therefore, if he jumps into the Keshigat also, then he will become ghost, then we will get married. Then they asked so many questions, oh, how many of you goes to here? They said, we have so many. What do you do? So some of us will doing parikrama, some of us will sitting doing kirtan, some will living here. So acha. Then they told that no, it's not possible that he's going to commit suicide. If you want, we said, how else can we help you? Then he said, the ghost said, there's only one way if you want to liberate from me, is that if you give me the Charanamrita of Bhakti Bandhav Goswami Maharaj. So where do we get the Charanamrita of Bhakti Bandhav Goswami Maharaj? He is Navadip. So no, there is one Babaji here, one devotee. He was not Babaji that time, but he's white cloth. Now he's Babaji Vash, Jayadev Babaji. So in his room, he is keeping on his shelf up there in one container some Charanamrita. Bring me that Charanamrita, put it in a copper plate, leave it here. Turn around, don't look, then I will take it. So they asked Jayadev Babaji, said, no, I don't have any Charanamrita. Then he remembered, oh yes, many years ago I had saved some, I kept it there, I had forgotten about it. And they looked and they found that he had a small container of this Bhakti Bandhav Goswami Charanamrita. Then they did as they said, put it in a copper plate, left it there, and they all left. And they saw that the Charanamrita had disappeared. And then since then that ghost never disturbing that brahmachari. Then even Gurudev, They publish it in the Hindi Bhagavad Patrika, this story, in one or two installments, but in full detail. So this is like ordinary ghost, but there's another type of ghost Mahaprabhu describes. He says that there was one man, he met one astrologer called Sarvagya. That astrologer, that Sarvagya, he told that man, he said that you are actually very fortunate. Your parents, your guardians, they have stored a very great treasure for you in your property. And that treasure will make you happy. Fill all your heart's desires. But you have to know where to dig. He has hidden it in the ground. You have to dig for it. But don't go to the north. If you go to the north, then there, what is there? There's a beehive there. If you dig there, these bees will come and they'll bite you and you'll suffer so much. He said also, don't go to the south. If you go to the south, there's a big python there, there's the southern side of the house. The python will bite you and swallow you, eat you. Don't go to the south. Don't go to the west. Why? There's a ghost that is there, haunting that west side of the property. If you go there, the ghost will disturb you and haunt you and possess you. But go to the east. Go to the east side of the house and dig there. Then you will find this treasure that your guardian has left for you there. So then Mahaprabhu was saying that who is the man? The man is us, the jiva. And this house is what? This is like the samsara we are living in. And who is Sarvagya? All knowing. The astrologer, that is Sri Guru, the Vaishnava. They all knowing. They come to us and they give us advice. They tell us, don't go to the north. Why? The beehive. This is like the path of karma. If you do karma in this world, then these bees will bite you and you'll suffer. Means if you do karma, you'll suffer so much in your life. You'll never enjoy, you'll never get any happiness. Only suffering. Don't go on the path of karma. It's full of suffering. And don't go to the south where the python is. This represents what? The path of Gyan. Those who aspire liberation, then what happens ultimately? They are swallowed by this python of liberation. Otherwise the jiva will merge into Brahman, then what will happen? He loses all his seva. He loses his seva vritti, his identity. And don't go to the west. Why? What is this ghost? This is the desire to attain siddhis, mystic siddhis. Ashtasiddhi Navanidhi. Jivas who want to attain these mystic potencies, then they become possessed by these desires. And they cannot give it up. And then once they attain these cities, then they're always trying to maintain these cities. And they give up everything else. And they waste their life for a 2 rupee trip. Like in Guru Darshan. When our Gurudev time, then his friend, in his childhood, he left to go to the Himalayas when he was young, to do tapasya. And when Gurudev, after many years, he had to return to his house for a few days. And they brought him by force. That time that one yogi came to the village. That time the yogi was doing a trick. He was walking on the water. Then all the villagers, everyone was astonished. Oh, look at this yogi, he's walking on the water. Then the grandfather of Gurudev, he was laughing. He said, what is the use of this yoga? So this is a 2 paisa trick. For 2 paisa, I hired a boatman and I crossed the river. You went to the Himalayas and did all this tapasya for all these years just to learn a 2 paisa trick. It's worth 2 paisas. So ultimately, what is the use of this 2 paisa siddhis? What is the benefit of that? You get possessed by this, then you'll be cheated, you'll cheat yourself from bhakti. Cheat yourself from your eternal occupation, that is prem seva. What is the use of all these things? They cannot make you happy. And so many people, even they don't have these siddhis, they want to imitate they have these siddhis. Like those who practice Ashtanga Yoga, then they practice Yam, Niyam, Asana, all these things. And in the process of Patanjali, you have to control your senses and control your mind. You have to control your body. So in order to control the body, you have to become expert, fully in touch their body. So they do all these cleaning processes. They do neti, they clean the nasal system, navel cavity. They do kapalbhati, when they cleanse the stomach. One is they swallow a cloth, and they know how they roll the stomach, and it's like a washing machine. And the cloth is there, and it rumbles, and the cloth collects all the mucus and all the toxins in the stomach, and they pull the cloth out. They do this, and then there's all these different other processes. Inhaling, exhaling, pranayam. So by doing this, then what happens is they attain full control over their senses and their body and everything. But then, so many people, they don't, but it actually requires so much concentration, so much dedication. It's not easy to attain siddhis, especially in Kali Yuga, very, very difficult. So people, they want to imitate, they have siddhis. So they have control of their bodies in some sense, that they have practiced this regurgitation with the cloth and everything. So what they do, they swallow like gold, they swallow Shiva lingas. Then they know how to put it in their stomach and know how to bring it out to their mouth. So when they swallow in advance, then the people, public come to them. Then after then they bring the Shiva lingas from their mouth, and everyone says, oh my God, look, he's manifesting Shiva lingas from his stomach. But the reality is that he just swallowed them 1 hour before, or half an hour, or 10 minutes before. And now he's bringing them up again. Or they know how, sleight of hand, like magicians. Gurudev tells, Vishnu Chakravarti himself tells Katha about magicians. They are so expert. They know the art of doing magic. And some actually, by siddhis, actually can do real magic. Like, for instance, Gurudev tells two famous stories. He tells the story of this P.C. Sarkar, who's a famous magician in India. He already had a reputation for himself. So in Calcutta, that time, all the dignitaries, he was supposed to put on a show at 4 o'clock. So all the dignitaries, all the ministers and MLAs and all the judges and all the high citizens of Calcutta, they are all there. All the cream of the crop is there. 4 o'clock, they all there waiting, had their tickets in their seats. 4:15 went by, didn't show up. 4:30 he didn't show up. 4:45 he didn't show up. Finally at 5 o'clock he showed up. And everyone was furious. What is this? You're coming 1 hour late? Who do you think you are? Making us wait for your show? What kind of magician you are? You cannot even show on time. What magic you'll show us? Then that P.C. Sarkar said, 5 o'clock? 1 hour late? What do you mean? Look at your clocks. And they all looked at their clocks. All of their clocks said 4 o'clock. All of the clocks. Even though he was 1 hour late, but he changed all their clocks to 4 o'clock. It's real magic. Then there was another Katha which said that there was a king, and there was a famous magician group, husband, wife, children, had 2 sons. A group that used to tour the country and do magic. The king invited, the queen invited, and they were doing some tricks and shows. And then, after doing so many wonderful tricks and shows, the queen was very happy. Then she gave one pearl necklace off her neck and gave to the magician. The magician took that, gave to one of his sons. Then the one son was looking at it like, oh, very nice. Then the other son said, hey, I want to look, give it to me. Then he tried to pull, said, hey, don't touch. He gave it to me. And they started fighting over this necklace. Then one of them took out a sword, the other one took out a sword. They went fighting and they killed each other. Then the wife of the magician, group seeing her 2 sons, they killed themselves. She took a knife and she stabbed herself, also killed herself. Then the husband was like, oh, my 2 children are gone, my wife is dead. Then he also took a sword and he cut his neck and he also died. All family was dead, everyone was shocked. What have we done? What happened? Just they're fighting over one pearl necklace, now the whole... So they took the bodies away, everything. And the king and the queen were mourning. Oh, such an unfortunate situation. In our kingdom, such an inauspicious thing happened. But the next morning, a letter came. A messenger came for the king. And it was from the head of the magician. So we are very happy that we were able to yesterday perform in your court, in your kingdom. You gave us remuneration, everything for our show. But for our last trick, you did not give us any remuneration. When can we come and collect our remuneration, our payment for the last trick? We are all alive and well. Then in reality, the husband, the wife, the 2 sons, they all came there in front of the king. They bowed down and then the king rewarded them. So these tricks, these magic tricks is there. And even today you can see the people who are very expert then. By a sleight of hand they can do anything. So many things they are able to do. Astonishing things. So people who desire do not even have siddhis, and this is actually one kind of siddhi. Conjure of the hand, they can sleight of the hand. And they try to cheat people. Some people do it as a profession, okay, there's an honest living, it's an entertainment. But some people try to make disciples, try to make followers, and by the sleight of hand they do so many tricks. People, they cannot, because it's so fast the eye cannot catch it, and they think that the people are manifesting things. Prapti siddhi. Prapti siddhi means if there's any object somewhere else, you can steal that object from there and manifest it. So they imitate this prapti siddhi, they imitate all these things. This is like being possessed by a ghost. It's kind of desire for this pratishta, desire for name, fame, for wealth, all these things. So many charlatans, so many cheaters, conjurers, they do all these things. This is like being fully absorbed in the modes of material nature. And then you identify yourself in that way. So the jivas, they become absorbed in the gunas and they identify themselves as the gunas. They become so covered. They think, I am man, I am American, I am this Russian, I am this, I am that, I am from this country. And they identify with that and they don't never want to leave that place. But in reality, the jiva is spirit soul. Amsa Bhagavan. Thus influenced by the effect of the modes, they become attached to sense objects. One who is kritsna-vid, a man of complete knowledge, should not unsettle those who are akritsna-vid, of incomplete knowledge. This means that a man of complete knowledge should not try to force these thoughts on ignorant persons by saying, you are a jiva, distinct from the gunas, you are not the modes. Rather, a person who is haunted by a ghost will never understand that he is actually not a ghost, but a human being, even if he is told 100 times. His conviction can only be removed by medicine of mantras. Similarly, no amount of verbal instruction will help a bewildered jiva to stop identifying himself with the modes of material nature. Such people should simply be engaged in niskam karma, which automatically frees them from their absorption in the gunas. In other words, if someone is possessed by a ghost, it's not enough to tell them that you are not a ghost, wake up. Only by mantra, then you can actually cut the connection between the ghost and the person who is haunted. Only by this mantra, fulfilling some specific requirements of the ghost. Like once Bhakti Maharaj, when he went to Bengal, and there was one, he going so many villages there. There's one place where the village is always disturbing, oh, so many ghosts here, so many ghosts here. So then Tirtha Maharaj, he asked them, oh, what is the situation? And then they described how there was one house, one family, there was so many members in the family, they all contracted plague or some disease, they all died untimely deaths. So then he collected the names of all these people, it was like 20-25, put asanas for everyone, offered them all Mahaprasad, liberated them all. Since then no ghost disturbing. So there's some requirement that is required. By mantra, you can fulfill this. Otherwise it's not possible. The ghost in his subtle body, he cannot actually, he's always hungry, always thirsty. He cannot eat and drink anything because he has no physical body, but he has all the urges of someone in the physical body. Therefore he suffers so much. And therefore, things that are tamasic, he can try to eat and consume, like nails and hairs and blood and pus and semen, all these things. The ghosts may come for these things. And therefore they are eating these things and they are suffering. Because those objects have some bad subtle energy. And that bad subtle energy, the ghosts they consume. But their hunger and thirst is never satiated. So the ghost, someone in ghost body is suffering so much. Suffering always so much pain and agony, and they are always too much hurt, too much problem. So by mantra you can actually help them. So similarly, the jiva who is bewildered, who is identifying himself with his body, with his nation, everything, language, then doesn't matter how much you try to convince the jiva, communication, then he will not understand. Only by engaging that jiva by chanting Harinam, hearing Harikatha, performing seva, by mercy of Guru Vaishnava, and that jiva can give up this identity. Why? Because he accepts a new identity. That is what? Jiva Swarupoy Krishna Nityadas. I am eternal servant of Krishna. Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalir Dasa Dasa Dasa. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the beloved of the gopis, that is Gopinath. When we accept this new identity, I am the servant of who? Guru and Vaishnava. One time I asked Guru that there was meetings, our first Sangha meetings, Guru Sangha, this was 2007. There were so many people there in San Francisco, they were invited for this meeting there. They are asking two questions. Who are we? What is our identity? And what should we do? Should we do? They're trying to create some identity for the society, structure the society. So 2-3 days is all arguing back and forth, discussing. I happened to be there. So then after 2-3 days, then every day I was going for Gurudev's massage. He was staying nearby. Gurudev was not attending the meeting, but he was getting ready to go for the Badger festival. They were going to do 1 or 2 day festival in San Francisco, go to Badger. So meanwhile these meetings were going in place. Gurudev maybe some health checkup was going on, I forget. So I used to go every day for massage for Gurudev. After 3 days of these meetings, then I went to Gurudev. I said, all these meetings have been going on for 3 days, but they are not able to come to any conclusion. What are they, 3 days meeting, what are they discussing for 3 days? Gurudev was like astonished. What are they discussing for 3 days? Like curious. And then I said, oh, only 2 things, Gurudev. They are trying to find the answer for these 2 questions. Who are we? What is our identity? And what are we supposed to do? Guru said, what? Boss, this all. That's all they are asking. Then Gurudev asked me, who is your Guru? And I said, Gurudev, you are my Guru. He said, yes, this is your identity, this is your parichaya. You are the disciple of Srimad Bhaktivinoda Narayan Goswami Maharaj. What do? Gurudev said, we develop Krishna Prem, and then we distribute the fruits of Prem to everyone else. This is what we do. But, and after that, I was very happy. Then there was one of the most senior devotees who was leading the meetings. He happened to be in the room also. And this was like just after the massage, he had come in. But he didn't understand Hindi. So I was speaking in Hindi. And then after that, then the devotee came out, the devotee was like, hey, you're not allowed to do that, that's not fair. Why are you speaking Hindi this time? And I was like, I wanted the answer to the question. But then I told Shamarani Hindi. She was there in the meeting and said, oh, I told her everything that happened. She was, oh, great, I'm so relieved. I was getting bored of this meeting anyway. And after that, they didn't have any more meeting. It was resolved. So, this is our parichaya. This is our identity. What is our identity? We are the servants of Guru and Vaishnava. We are their humble servants. They are messengers. They are peons. We carry their message on our head and we distribute it to everyone. So when a devotee, he accepts this new identity or this real identity, then he automatically he forgets all his other false identities. And he becomes detached from his body, from his so-called nationalistic identity, his patriotism, all these things. He realizes this is just a label that is not actually associated with me. I am not English, I am not British, I am not American, I am not Chinese, I am not Russian, I am not anything else. I am what? Eternal servant of Bhagavan. This is the only way the jiva can become free. But in the beginning stage, if someone has this strong identity, this strong absorption, then we try to encourage them in bhakti, whatever we can. But here, at least if they're doing sakam, you could introduce them to nishkam. Try to do your duties without hankering for the fruits of your actions. Do it in a detached manner. Do your duty. Do fully your responsibilities. Try to be detached from the fruits. This way they will become purified. Then their absorption, the gunas will come down. They will become free ultimately. Shloka 30. Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasam nirasir nirmamo bhutva yudyasva vigata jvaraha. With your mind fixed in the self and offering all your activities to me, being freed from desire, possessiveness and lamentation, fight. So, he's telling Arjuna, just fix your mind in yourself. Offer all your activities to me. All your karma, all your actions, do as offering to me. This way you'll be freed from desire and possessiveness and lamentation, and then you'll be able to fight this war. Bhagavanava, therefore, O Arjuna, fight with your mind fixed in the self, adhyatma chetaha, offering all karma action unto me, and being free from all material hopes and desires. Do not let your mind dwell on the sense objects and give up any sense of possessiveness towards them. So this is, he just finished this Prakashika Vritti. Shri Bhagavan makes Arjuna the instrument through which he instructs common men to perform their prescribed karma, free from the false ego of being the doer and the desire for the fruits of their actions. Here the word karma refers to all types of karma, both lokic, mundane and Vedic, as prescribed in the Vedas. Nirmama indicates that one should perform action without any sense of possessiveness towards sense objects, such as the body, house, son, wife and brother. Here Yudyasva, fight, means to engage in prescribed actions. So here, tomorrow we'll hear from Slok 31. This is the chapter. Karma Yoga is a long chapter, still there's many more verses. Total 43. So another 12 verses in this chapter. We'll hear how Krishna is encouraging, instructing us about the process of karma and Nishkam Karma Yoga. Gaurvananda Hari Hari Va Jai Shri Guru Pada Padma Ki Jai Guru Parampara Ki Jai Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai Saparishada Gaur Hari Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Pad Ki Jai Nandavadi Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Samagata Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Jai Nidai Gaur Pramananda Hari Hari Va.